When selecting a bug out vehicle, there are key criteria or concepts that you need to keep in mind. This video, I'm going to cover 8 concepts which I consider essential to analysing the effectiveness of your bug out vehicle or things that need to improve for your particular platform. Regardless of the vehicle that you currently own, you can absolutely utilise it as a bug out vehicle. A bug out vehicle extends your capabilities. So we talk about bugging out and we have a bug out bag and we're heading out on foot. We're a person, we can only carry a certain amount of weight, a certain amount of equipment before it gets too much and we can only travel certain distances in a 24-hour period. Vehicles obviously give us the capacity to carry a lot more equipment and travel much further distances, and also provide us with a means of shelter, perhaps power, electricity, comms, those kinds of things. So a bug out vehicle is very important to your preparedness planning. So I'm going to go through some of this criteria just as a brief overview, and then subsequent videos in this series are going to be dedicated to each one of these points. Again, whatever vehicle you have is fine to start with. Don't think that you need to go and go into debt and buy some big fancy truck with all the sexy gear that you see other YouTubers have. They've got sponsorship, or they're in a position where they can afford that. And if you are in that position, that's fantastic. Make use of that wealth and those financial opportunities to do that. But if you don't fret, don't worry, I've got you covered. So the first concept I want to talk about is reliability. Now, your bug out vehicle needs to be reliable, durable, and able to withstand tough conditions. A lot of that comes from maintenance and a history of reliability. So that's having a vehicle that comes from a reputable manufacturer with a good reputation for reliability, spare parts availability, those kinds of things. And also, it has to be well maintained, and you are very key, instrumental in that process. The more maintenance you do on your vehicle, the more intimate knowledge you have of your vehicle, you are then able to triage any problems that occur, able to fix things yourself, and again, make yourself more self-sufficient and not relying on other people. Second criteria is off-road capabilities. So in an emergency, you might have to navigate rough terrain, unpaved roads, all sorts of things, water crossings. A bug out vehicle with good off-road capability, forward drive, high ground clearance, good traction. These are all things that are very much an advantage, because there's potentially going to be lots of abandoned cars on the normal paved or bitumen roads that you can't pass, and you may need to go off the beaten track to get around and get to your bug out location. Fuel efficiency, and this is a really big one because we don't know what fuel availability is going to be like when shit hits the fan. So if you've got a vehicle that can travel long distances without frequent refueling, it is very, very advantageous. So if possible, you can look for a vehicle with good fuel efficiency, that you can travel far on a single tank. You may have a more thirsty vehicle and have a long range tank or a secondary tank, or carry additional fuel on board. There's a lot of different ways there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say, and fuel efficiency is one that we can sometimes elevate the capability and the fuel range of our vehicles. The next one is cargo capacity. Obviously, when I talked about our bug out bag and how much we can carry, a vehicle is an extension of your capability, the extension of the capability of you as a person, an individual, or a group. So you can pack in a lot more stuff, a lot more food, a lot more water, a lot more medical supplies, communications equipment, clothing. The list goes on and on and on. Your vehicle might have a rooftop tent, its ability to provide shelter. Your vehicle might have a bed set up in it. There's such an advantage to having a vehicle at your disposal I think it's highly important, and cargo capacity is just one of those things where it hands down is definitely going to be an aid in those sort of situations. Security features. When mobs are roaming the streets looking for things to steal, they're going to be looking to steal vehicles or what's inside vehicles. So making sure that your vehicle is secure, that it can't be accessed or itself be stolen. Now, of course, people can smash windows, ignore alarms and security systems, snatch and run. Things are deterrents. If your car looks visibly secure, there's no like change or money or phone lying around that can be seen from outside of the vehicle. If you're having those stickers on there saying that this vehicle is protected by blah blah blah, is GPS tracked, casual thieves are going to look for a softer target. They're opportunistic criminals at best, and they're not going to generally risk attempting to steal from or steal a vehicle that is going to bring a lot of attention to themselves. So this is important for keeping your bug-out vehicle secure before an SHTF scenario. We worry about what happens once shit goes down, but we're dealing with day-to-day life in the lead up to that. You don't want to prepare a vehicle, have it ready, and somebody else have an inkling or something's about to go down, see your vehicle, and hey, well, I'm going to take that. So security, very important. Maintenance and repair, and I'll harp about this a lot over the course of these videos. Maintaining your vehicle is such an important thing. I often hear people say, X brand of vehicle, manufacturer of Fords are unreliable, Holden or GM vehicles are unreliable, and that's usually because they treat them like shit. They don't maintain them properly. Most vehicles generally will last a very long time if you look after them. So keeping up the maintenance, again, keeps your vehicle reliable and increases your knowledge of the vehicle. You get used to changing oils, fluids, checking nuts and bolts. So when you go out doing checks, you then can notice, that doesn't quite look right. I've never seen fluid maybe weeping from that particular spot. It makes you such a more efficient person, and if your vehicle ends up suffering damage and is operable in an SHTF situation, you may have to acquire another vehicle. You may have to repair another vehicle. All these skills are transferable. Now, obviously, there are idiosyncrasies and particular things that affect certain vehicles or way a manufacturer does stuff, but the guiding principles are the same. How an engine works, an engine needs oil, it needs fuel, it needs air. This stuff is such a gift. Like, the knowledge of such an important part of your life, and aside from a house, your vehicle is probably going to be like the second most expensive thing you ever purchase. So looking after it just makes sense. One I don't see spoken about a lot as a concept for bug-out vehicles is concealment. Now, again, people can have these big, massive, fancy trucks, but they're an unnatural shape, and they're very hard to conceal unless you're in like dense scrubland, or you can hide it in a warehouse or something like that. These are things you need to be aware of. And obviously, the colour of your vehicle, a bright red or a yellow, obviously harder to hide. Now, you can deploy measures such as like camo netting and stuff to help camouflage that, which definitely does help. And even for a darker coloured or camo painted vehicle, it can do those sort of things as well. But we need to understand that deploying things like a cargo net will make things a lot harder to remove if you need to get out of there quickly if someone's in pursuit of you. So again, everything is a compromise. Everything needs to be managed in a certain way, but darker colours or natural colours are definitely going to be to your advantage. Last on the list is versatility. A bug-out vehicle should be able to adapt to changing situations. Now, we're not driving around in Transformers. We're not going to come to a flooded area and it changes into a plane and we fly across it, or it changes into a boat. But a vehicle that is flexible and we can adapt it to certain situations. So this is when you might purchase a four-wheel drive or an SUV that has road tires, but you live in an area that's a lot of dirt roads, there's rain, there's mud, so changing to a mud terrain tire. This is the adaptability we're talking about. Fitting a snorkel so you can travel through water crossings if that's a necessity. Adding a 12-volt system, a solar panel, so you have a permanent power source on the go so you can charge electronics, GPS units. We don't know what the world is going to look like when one of these scenarios happens, and being adaptable with your loadout, with your vehicle, is always going to be an advantage. So thanks for watching this first video. As I said, I'm going to be making subsequent videos in this series dedicated to each one of these key criteria, and I may find or think of other things along the way which I'll definitely mention. If you think this video is useful, drop a comment below, like the video, subscribe if you wish to, share it with friends. We really want to make this, I really want to make this something that is going to help spur people on to look at their vehicle, the vehicle that they currently have, and see what can be done with it. It's a much maligned thing I hear online a lot of time. Oh, I only have this, or I've got a little Kia or a Honda or something like that. You still have something at your disposal, and to just ignore it because it's not the big flashy truck, as I keep saying, you're doing yourself a disservice. That vehicle could save you or your family's life, so you need to take that with the seriousness it deserves and just realize how much you can actually do with something like that. So thanks for watching, and look out for the next episode in this series coming soon on reliability. Thanks.